Hi everyone, my name's Irwin, hope you're all well, hope you're staying safe, which is most important. I'm really excited to welcome you to our new Facebook Live chat. Today's session is going to be about resilience and all things resilientness. And what I would like from you, if you don't mind, is to give me as many questions on your level of resilience as you can. No question is a silly question. Every question is a real important question to me anyway in terms of being able to help you to reduce your resilience. This is going to take place every Thursday, not on resilience but different topics throughout the sessions. So I'm really excited about it. So, fire away, fire any questions. I've got my able assistant with me, by the way, Lorraine. I was going to say Deborah McGee, but it's Lorraine. Any questions that you've got, just feel free to write them down or just send them, and I'll answer them when I can. I just want to start off. I always start my workshops off with a basic foundation of how we can get from one place to another. I'm not sure whether you're aware, we've been doing lots of vlogs, Ignite, in terms of helping people cope throughout this pandemic that we're all suffering from at this moment in time. And one of the blogs that I did last week was on the 4 stages to freedom. Okay? And the 4 stages to freedom is basically stages of where anybody can get to. We've all got to go through 4 stages in order to get somewhere where we want to get to, if that makes sense. So I just want to go through that just to set the foundation. Okay, so as I mentioned on the vlog that I did, which you can see on our website by the way, there are 4 stages. So in the context of resilience that we're working on today, there are 4 stages that everyone has to go through in order to become resilient. Okay? So the first stage is the comfort zone. C for comfort. Now, most people, believe it or not, are comfortable with their lack of resilience. Believe it or not. It's not where they want to be, but they're comfortable with it. So, this session today, I'm going to come along and give you some tools and techniques that are going to be able to help you. So at this point, we're now at the reason stage. R for reason. So we're reasoning about doing something about our resilience. So the information that I'm going to give you is the next stage is called the terror barrier. So the terror barrier is anything that we do for the first time and try for the first time, which in most cases is uncomfortable, but most cases from that are terrifying. Welcome, Jamie. So I'm going to give you some information that's going to make you feel uncomfortable in terms of trying to get around your lack of resilience. If you can stay with this uncomfortableness, of this new information, it'll become positively comfortable. And then you're at the stage here where I call super duper freedom. So bear that in mind. Anything that we do, anything that you've done in the past, we've all had to go through those 4 stages. But in the context of being resilient, most people are comfortable not being resilient. Then they get to a stage where they reason about it. Do you know what? I'm really sick of lacking in resilience. I'm really sick of not being strong and not following through the things that I need to do. I need to get some help. So they come on a workshop like this to get some information, and it might make them feel uncomfortable. In some cases, terrifying. But that uncomfortableness becomes comfortable, positively comfortable, and then they're at this stage here where they're free. So we're resilient. Now, there are lots of elements in resilience in terms of how to be resilient, but one of the key elements for me is staying calm in any situation that you find yourself in. Again, this is easier said than done, but if we can act on this information and get emotionally involved in it, we'll become a walking, talking replica of it. Most people, when they get some information, they use it for a while, and then something comes along, and then they stop using it. And then they think, well, that situation, that advice didn't work. And it wasn't so much the advice that didn't work, it was the fact that they didn't emotionalise the information and really run with it. And what I mean by emotionalising it, I mean, you know, persistently working on that stuff, you know, until you become a walking, talking replica of it. Unfortunately, most people are a walking, talking replica of the negative side of life. I'll never do this, I'll never do that, I can't do this, I can't do that. And that's what shows up in their lives, and that's what makes them think that they can't get to a stage where they're in a really positive position. So, staying calm, being flexible, about the situation. So if you think about the current situation that we're in at the moment, where we're on lockdown and we're just about to start to get out a bit more, most people aren't calm in that situation. So they're a bit tense, they're a bit withdrawn, they're a bit introverted. And again, if we can look outside of what's going on, that resilience will get better, we'll get better, and everything will be all right. The next one is about keeping a perspective. We've got to keep a perspective in terms of where we're at this moment in time. So if you find yourself under pressure a lot, the first thing to do is to find out, why am I under pressure? One of the first things that I do each and every morning, which I hope you can get locked into, is when I'm in the shower or having a shave, I always ask myself, how am I feeling at this moment in time? You know, positive self-talk. Irwin, how are you feeling at this moment in time? And if I'm not feeling too great, I'll ask myself why. What's the situation? Why am I not feeling too great? Did I have a bad dream? What was I thinking about before I went to sleep the previous night? And just by asking those questions, I get to a point where I'm feeling all right. Unfortunately, most people, they get up in the morning, they're rushing, they're getting the kids ready, or they're getting themselves ready, they're minded about something that they've got to do throughout that day, and before they get to the destination, work or wherever it is, they're absolutely lacking in resilience, lacking in confidence, and they're shot before the day started. So just by asking that question, what the situation is at the moment, how am I feeling, will make you feel better. I don't know how many people are good at problem solving. Hi Anna, how you doing? Problem solving is another way to increase your resilience. Most people, when they've got a problem, instead of focusing on that problem and leaving everything else, they focus on everything else and not the problem, thinking that the problem will go away, and alas, it never does. It just perpetuates and gets worse and worse and worse. So try and get into a situation where any problem that you get, try and nail it straight away. And it's not always the case sometimes, because sometimes we need help from other people to help with our problems, but I'm talking about internal problems, how we're feeling within ourselves with regards to being resilient. Another one, excuse me, let me just get my drink. Another one is being grateful. Most people aren't grateful for the basic things that they've got. And that, again, if you start your day in gratitude, and gratitude is one of the vlogs that we've done incidentally, which you can see on our website. If you start your day in gratitude, throughout the day it will help you feel even more gratitude for the things that you've got. Hi Becky, how you doing? Good to see you. So being grateful for anything. So take for example, this morning I said to myself, do you know what, I'm so happy and grateful for all the unused things that I've not really done anything for, that I'm going to get. So take for example, hi Georgia, how you doing? So take for example, hot and cold running water, getting in the car and driving to work or driving wherever I'm going, having something to eat, just being grateful for that. That will shift my lack of resilience to being grateful, and that will make me feel better, if that makes sense. The next one is believing in yourself. Most people don't believe in themselves, and as a result of not believing in themselves, they become negative, they're lacking confidence, and then that makes the resilience even weaker when they have to do things. Because, don't know about yourself, but my life is like that. It's up and down, and I think that is life. But life's alright when it's like that. Anybody can handle life when it's up. But it's when it's down, this is where we need the tools and techniques to help us to build us that resilience so we can feel a lot better. Okay, so that's me rambling for a bit. Have you got any questions that you need to ask me about your resilience? Now, can I please ask you all to have an honesty of purpose about where you're at? Because if you're not honest about your resilience and honest about how you're feeling in that any given moment, hi Carmela, how you doing? Good to see you. If you're not honest about where you're at this moment in time, then nothing's going to work for you. You can't get any help. So I'm all about being honest with our feelings, being honest about where we're at, and then we can get some help. We can get the right help. Okay. Anybody got any questions? Come on, you must have. Okay, I've got a question for you then, for me. Irwin, there's there's another question coming through. Well, there's one question coming through.
Carmela's asking what a grate is.
What a grate. Okay, what a grate. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Carmela, what a grate is, but from my perspective, when I think of grate, hi Alice, how you doing? Good to see you. When I think of, like I said, I'm not sure what you mean by grate, Carmela, but I think you mean what a grate is in terms of, do you mean is something, when something's great, whether it's authentically great or not? Do you mean it like that? I'm not quite sure. How we can tell when something's great is if we feel it within ourselves, if that makes sense. I hope that answers your question. If it's not, tell me it another way and I'll try and answer it another way for you. Anybody else?
Oh, Carmela's saying what a great idea it is to do this.
Ah,
sorry.
Right. There you go. That's my assistant tripping me up there. You're trying to put me under pressure. Yeah, it is. It's fantastic. It's brilliant. I'm really, really excited for it. It's just something that we're going to run and run and run, hopefully. And for me, when I work in this environment and we help our clients, I'm always thinking when I reflect on what I'm doing.
Got another question.
You've got another question?
Will meditation help with developing resilience?
Good question. Meditation will help. Meditation will help. Because when we meditate, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm meditating, I'm thinking about all the good things that either I'm grateful for or want to come into my life. So if I'm thinking like that, if you're thinking like that, then you're going to be feeling more relaxed. And then whatever you have to circumvent throughout the day, whatever task you've got, you can do it with more gusto and vigour and resilience. So that's a good question. Anybody else? I feel like I'm in a doctor's surgery.
Next, please.
What about you, Lorraine? Have you got any questions?
Alice is asking if there are any tips or strategies for building resilience.
Good question, Alice. I think for me, the tips are personal development. And what I mean by that is, the more a person works on themselves in all aspects of their life, I'm talking inwardly now in terms of our emotions, the more we work on ourselves, the more resilient we become. Because in my opinion, and from my experience, when the times when I wasn't doing any work on myself inwardly, my emotions, I was all over the place. So take for example, if somebody's stressed at the moment, if that person can work on the stress, then everything else, once they work on the stress, everything else gets better. If that person works on the confidence, then they've got the confidence then to do something else what might be bothering them in their lives. So for me, Alice, the key is personal development. As much personal development as you can. I have a blog that I wrote a couple of months ago, and I'm going to be sharing my blogs incidentally on Yammer. And one of the blogs that I've got is, we need to work on ourselves harder than we work on anything else. So when we go to work, yes, we have to be efficient in doing our job to the best of our ability, but dovetail with that should be our personal development. It should go hand to hand. You know, most people are just, you know, they go to work and they really work hard, and then when they come home from work, they're suffering. And it's not because there's anything wrong with them, it's just that they're not working on themselves. So that goes hand in hand. That answers your question on this.
Got another question.
Okay.
What tips do you have for overcoming if you're doubting yourself?
Good question. If I'm doubting myself, and I can only put it back to me, but if I'm doubting myself, I ask the question, what is it I'm doubting? Well, I'll never be able to get a job, I'll never be able to meet a nice person, I'll never be able to get the house that I want, I'll never be able to do this. Then for me, it's all about trying to get to the root cause of why I'm feeling like that. And that is a really good question. What I want to share with you is something called the stickman concept, and it centres around this question. Now, right about the 1930s, there was a chap, I never met him, but he was a nice chap because he's given me some really good information, called Dr. Thurman Fleet. And he was part of the concept therapy movement in San Antonio in Texas, in America, way back in the 30s. And he believed, which I believe is still the case today unfortunately, that the medical profession put too much emphasis on our physical bodies, alright? They always look at the symptoms and not the cause. So take for example, you go to the doctor and the doctor says, what's wrong with you, Irwin? And I say, I've got a bit of a headache. They write me a prescription and off I go. This guy wanted to peel the layers back and he wanted to get to the root cause of it. But in order to get to the root cause of it, he needed a clear picture of how the mind works. And he came up with the stickman concept, and this is how it works. So he said that our mind is bigger than our body, which is true. So we think a thought and the body acts it out. So we've got a big mind, forgive my drawing, and we've got a small body. I hope everybody can see this. Now, he said that there are two parts to our mind, which is true. We've got the conscious part, that's the part that reasons and thinks. And then we've got the subconscious part, which for me is the most crucial part. And there are we all get our information through our sensory factors, which is true. We've got we can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Now, these sensory factors that we're all blessed with, that we've all got, most of us have got, they act like a sky dish on top of a building or an aerial. Most people think that when they switch the television on of an evening, it just the miraculous that comes on, they don't realise that it comes from a receiving set. So we get our information just like that. Okay, now I want to personalise this. So my sensory factor, which was to hear, when I was growing up, all I heard were things like, you'll never make it, Irwin. Now don't feel sorry for me, this is just a fact, okay? So, and when we're young, and people are looking after us, we believe what they say, and because I believe in that information, by the time I got to school, and it got down to this subconscious part, by the time I got to school, I was a walking, talking replica of that information. So in other words, the teachers say, come on Irwin, you can do this. I can't do it, so why not? I don't know, and I didn't know. And it's only when I got this information that everything changed for me. So in the context of being resilient, what we've got to ask ourselves is, the people that we were around when we were growing up, did they have any resilience? Because if they didn't have any resilience, I bet you anything that their lack of resilience covered us, and then we saw that, and we got emotionally involved in that. Oh, my mum's not resilient, my dad's not resilient, whoever's looking after me is not resilient, so I'm going to be like that, and I become a walking, talking replica of it. So that is the root cause of why we are who we are. But it can change. Who relates? So it relates to this in the context of, well, so in terms of being resilient, if we're lacking in resilience, it's because of this reason. So it can be changed by different types of information as I'm giving you now. So I'm saying that your resilience can change, and what we've got to do, we've got to change the way we see things, hear things, and just all about us and the different information we take in. And once we get emotionally involved in that information, in terms of acting on it, then it will pass through this part and we'll become a walking, talking replica of it. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, come and see me and I'll do it again.
I wonder whether people should comment.
Have you got any comments about this? Please, please, please ask. Please, please, please ask. If you can relate to this, say, yes, Irwin, do you know what, I can relate to that. That's probably what... So, you know, most people, whenever I do the workshops here on Ignite, and I go through this concept with people, most people think, do you know what, Irwin, I thought it was me who was feeling like this all my life. I thought I was born like this. Sophia, do you remember it? Brilliant, brilliant. So we can all empathise with this. And, you know, even just looking at this for the first time, it makes us feel a little bit better. So our resilience starts to increase a bit, because we start to think, wow, I wasn't born like that. I wasn't this person at all. It was just a lack of information that I received, poor information. Carmela, nice one. Glad you can, you know, identify with that. It was just a lack of information that we didn't get, or we did get. But there's a flip side to this lack of resilience and where this comes from. I don't know if you've probably seen it around, people who seem to be really resilient, really, really confident. I see it all the time, and I used to think before I had this information, wow, I wish I was like that. But we've got to understand that it was their information that they saw, they seen, they heard around them when they were growing up. They saw resilient people around them, so they became that. So we can do it. Nice one, well done, Sophia. Cool. So that is the gist of it. And anytime we deal with any of our emotions, we've always got to get to the root cause of it. And the root cause starts with this concept. Why am I feeling like this? Well, do you know what? My mum used to feel like that, or my dad used to feel like that, or my auntie used to feel like that, or whoever I was around used to feel like that. And because I wanted to be like them, I became that. And that's the thing in terms of resilience, in terms of what we're working on. Keep your questions coming, they're absolutely fantastic.
I've got a question for you. Becky's asking how she can get into meditation.
Good question, Becky, really good question. For me, it's all about getting the right information from the right source. And for me personally, there's no better source in getting information in terms of meditation from our own Mark Shaw. So if you ask Mark, or you can ask me and I can get Mark to give you some information, that will be a good starting point. Because like all information and all knowledge, it depends on what source we get it from, whether it's going to determine whether we prosper from it or don't prosper from it. So it's all about the right information. Hope that makes sense. Mark do live.
Could you do a live on meditation?
Mark could do it, yes. We'll run that through. And Mark could definitely do a live Facebook on meditation. Brilliant idea.
And what Jamie's asking is, do you have any tips of overcoming anxiety around work objectives? And I would add to that, around the anxiety that people are going to have in going back to work.
Right, so firstly, so does Jamie mean, is Jamie talking about a person's workload, having an anxiety around that? Okay. As I mentioned, Jamie, at the top of the conversation this morning, it's all about us personally having an honesty of purpose about where we're at. Now, most people think that when they go to work or they get a job, most people think that they can't say no. And what I mean by that is, if we're not sure about something or we don't think that we can do it, most people then think, yeah, do you know what, I'm going to do it anyway because I don't want people to think that I can't do it. But the problem with that is, the person that's asking us to do something and we say that we can do it, we're down deep we can. Once we don't do it, then that person's got every right to say, well, you said you could do it and I'm relying on you to do it. So what I'm trying to say is it's all about having an honesty of purpose at that moment in time to say, Luke, I can't do what you're asking for. But that comes with confidence, see? If we've got the confidence within ourselves to be ourselves and be true to ourselves, we won't feel anxious when it comes to doing a certain type of task because we're confident in ourselves to either accept it in the right way or reject it in the right way. Does that make sense? Hope it does. Any more questions? And what did you say, Lorraine, sorry?
For me, it's around people have been stuck indoors for such a long time.
Yeah.
And is there any, for me it felt really weird coming into the office today,
right, yeah.
And a bit frightening.
Yes.
And so how do people build their resilience as they're preparing to go back to work or preparing to see people that they haven't seen for a long time?
Good question. Well, again, Lorraine and everybody, I would go back to this 4 stages to freedom. When we were in lockdown, and I did a vlog on this, when we were in lockdown, even though we didn't like being in lockdown, it gets to a point now where we become comfortable being in the lockdown. I mean, I don't know about you, I came out this morning, Lorraine, and the amount of cars that were on the road, and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But that's because we've been comfortable not seeing any cars around. That's because we've been comfortable not seeing anybody. That's because we've not been comfortable in going into work and stuff like that. And now, it's a case of things are starting to change and we start to reason with ourselves, well, what's it going to be like and, am I going to be alright and we're going to be able to function and stuff. So it's just a case of going back to these 4 stages and thinking, the reason why we're feeling the way we're feeling at this moment in time about going back to work is because we've been comfortable not going into work. And now we've got to get out of that comfort zone, as in going into work and dealing with people and doing what we usually do, to the best of our ability and as efficiently as we can. So that's why that situation is. So it's got, in other words, it's got nothing to do with you. And unfortunately, I say unfortunately, sadly, most people think it does, and then most people will then go to the doctor and say, I'm not right, I feel a bit scared about going into work and everything, and the doctor will say, well, just take that then and you'll be all right. Prescription, whatever it is, right? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, that person then becomes comfortable with that prescription, when it's really not about that. That doctor or whoever should have said to them, look, that's natural that you're feeling like that. Do you know what? Everybody's feeling like that. And then that made, oh right, I didn't realise, I thought it was just me. And then we're all right again.
Thank you. I've got another question. Well, I've got another question and a comment. What Alice is saying is maybe you can do X, whatever X is, but you lack confidence. So how would you overcome that? But Sophia's saying she struggles with confidence and assertiveness a lot. So what about the confidence part?
Right. There is a saying which I'm not sure whether I like, but at the same time I do like, and they say it's fake it till you make it. I don't know if you've heard of that. But the context that I'm trying to put that into is, if we have to do something and we really don't want to do it, the first question is always, is this thing that I'm doing, is it going to send me to the star that I'm shooting at? In other words, is it worth me doing? If the answer is yes, then we just have to do it. In terms of having the confidence, we get the confidence by doing it. We don't get, the confidence dissipates and dissipates and dissipates the more we procrastinate. So the more we say, oh, I'm not sure of that, and I'll put this off, and I've got this task to do, but I keep, that just gets worse and it perpetuates how we feel. So for me, it's a case of thinking, okay, right, I'm doing this Facebook Live this morning. When I got out of bed, I thought, right, I've got to do this today, this morning. How do you feel? Do you really want to do it? And my question was, yeah, I do want to do it. But even if I didn't want to do it, then it would come to me and say, well, you're not doing it for you, Irwin, you're doing it for X, Y, Z. So then that will give me the impetus to do it, if that makes sense. What was the other question?
Assertiveness.
Assertiveness. Again, hopefully we'll be doing some staff training for staff, and one of the workshops will be on assertiveness, because I think, personally speaking, most people lack in assertiveness in the right way. How to be assertive in the right way, how to say no when you really mean no. There is a phenomenal book called The Power of No by a chap called Vernon Howard, and the title is Your Power to Say No. Whenever I do a workshop in this room, I always ask the learners, and I always say, do you ever find yourself saying yes when you really mean no? And all hands go up, because that's what we all do. We say yes when we really mean no.
What was the book called? So I can...
Your Power to Say No by Vernon Howard. We all say yes, but deep down we really think, I wish I wouldn't have said that. I really didn't want to do that. And that's having the confidence to see that if we don't really want to do it, whatever we do, it's not going to come out right, Lorraine. Do you know what I mean? If somebody says to you, right, you've got to do a task and you don't really want to do it, you're not going to do that task to the best of your ability because you don't want to do it. The root of you doesn't want to do it. So if you've got the power to say, no, I don't want to do it, and give a valid reason as to why you don't want to do it, you'll feel empowered. You'll feel empowered, and whatever else that you need to do, you'll be doing it with real gusto and real efficiency.
Jessica's saying, and she's given a message to Sophia, but I think it is relevant for everybody else, is that it's a skill that she's learned through pattern changing, but using I messages,
yes,
either just for yourself or with others, has made a huge difference for her.
That's brilliant. Well done, well done. One of the techniques in our assertiveness workshop is about I statements, by the way. So take, for example, Lorraine and I are in a situation together where we've got a rota to wash up every night, right? So Lorraine's turn's on a Monday, my turn's on a Tuesday. So my turn comes on a Tuesday and I don't wash up, and Lorraine says, Irwin, do you know what? I'm bloody sick of you not washing up. I'm always doing it for my turn and all that. We're just going to contract and have an argument. But if Lorraine uses the I statement and names her feeling and how she feels in that given moment, I'm more likely to listen. Lorraine's not going to get stressed out, and we're going to come to a compromise. So instead of you bloody this and you bloody that, it's I feel, name the feeling, sad, happy, glad, annoyed, when you, in terms of not washing up, when you didn't wash up and we've got a rota to do it. So the I statement, it's all about us, it's not about the other person. It's all about how we feel. And if you can name the feeling and use the word I, as you say, brilliant, fantastic.
And Grace is saying, how do you deal with verbal abuse with someone who tries to put you down in front of others?
Ooh, good question. If it's a loved one, so if we're in a relationship with someone and that's happening, then it's not easy to get out of that. but we can get out of it emotionally by not reacting to that person. And again, that comes back to the I statement. Somebody's really being verbally aggressive to you. Most people mirror that. Most people, get aggressive back. Or most people, suffer in silence, which makes it worse because all their feelings are just submerged within themselves. So again, it's all about the I statement, using the word I. So I feel really, really upset when you keep swearing at me and you keep getting aggressive at me, and I would like you to talk to me rather than to do that. Trying that statement rather than to contract with that person, it might make that person stop and think. Hope that makes sense. We have helpline. Oh yes, we have helplines. Sorry again, we have helplines, contact details, message us. So we have all different types of helplines here at BCHA. So feel free to message us with any comments or questions, gripes or grouses that you might have, and we'll aim to help you.
So I just want to share a couple of comments. Ali Bongo has said, saying no may mean letting others down, and she hates the thought of that. And Sophia has also said she hates saying no sometimes, but that she has to in order to get things done.
See now, Sophia, that's good that you're thinking like that. You need to start thinking like that, because for me, it's all about self-preservation, not selfishly, but in terms of if I'm not right within myself, I can't be right with anybody else. So if someone asks me to do something and I really don't want to do it, I have to have the courage to say to that person, do you know what, I can't do it, I just can't do it. And even if that person gets upset or gets angry with it, I've got to stay to my truth and be truthful to me, and by being truthful to me, I'm going to help that other person. But again, it's back to this 4 stages to freedom. Most of us are used to saying yes when we really mean no, and we're comfortable with it, even though we don't want to be in that situation. So to try and do it, we're going to feel uncomfortable, but the more we practice with it, we get positively comfortable, and then we'll get to this stage, freedom, where we can just say no and mean it, or yes and mean it. Be authentic, that's the thing.
Jessica's just raised a good point. She's saying by saying no, you're setting a boundary, and the only people who get upset by you setting boundaries are those who are benefiting from you having no in the first place.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic point. Who was that, by the way?
That was Jessica.
Jessica, why don't you come and work for us at BCHA? Brilliant, fantastic on the Ignite team. Hi Michelle, how you doing? Really, really good point. So yeah, I hope it makes sense that, Alice. The more we don't say yes when we really mean yes, it's giving the other person leverage to keep asking us all the time. And what happens with us, our resilience just keeps dissipating and dissipating and dissipating, and along with our confidence as well. And then we end up just not doing anything and being in a really bad state of mind. And then when somebody says to us, what's wrong with you? And then we eventually have the courage to say, well, because I keep saying yes to you when I really mean no, that person 9 times out of 10 will say to us, well, you should have said. That's what they've said to me in the past anyway. And then you feel even worse. You think, yeah, I should have said it, and I didn't. Keep your questions coming. It's fantastic. Brilliant.
Sophia's saying she knows that she's hated for saying no. But she does it to put things in place to make her feel better, and she's done it a lot.
Well done, Sophia. And the thing is, with me, with that word, when people don't like us, then I always think, well, am I really worried about someone who doesn't want to worry about me? You think if that makes sense? So if somebody doesn't like me, I then think to myself, well, most of us, because we all want to be liked, don't we? We all want to be liked and we all want to be loved and everything. That's just human nature. And when someone doesn't like us for any reason, straight away, we then feel vulnerable, threatened and that kind of thing. But what I want everybody to do is to try and switch that, to think to themselves, okay, that person doesn't like me. Well, are there people that I don't like in my life? Yeah. So that's just life, isn't it? And it's not to get too emotionally involved in what people think of us in terms of, see, my philosophy is, life's like that up and down, and when we do something good, when somebody praises us, what are we like? What are you like? Are you high in the sky, or somebody's just praised me and I feel really well and they've done really, said something really nice about me? Fine. But what are you like when somebody says not something not nice to you? Do you descend? So it's all about having an equilibrium, a balance within yourself. Okay, I can take a compliment, but if somebody says something, a critic, somebody says something, I can also take that as well. We've got to look at it on the same value. You know, the praise and the criticism. We've got to look at it on the same value. But that comes with having emotional intelligence. That comes with having confidence, resilience, assertiveness. But it all comes under the umbrella of personal development. The more we work on ourselves and our emotions, we're going to be all right. See, nothing can touch anyone who is emotionally intelligent. Nothing. Somebody loses a job tomorrow. All right, yeah, you know what I mean, I've got to get another job, but it's not going to hurt me inwardly because I know that I've got the resilience to get back up. If something happens where, you know, like this virus that we're all going through, most people are suffering, but I believe most people are suffering because they've not got these tools and techniques in place. They're not resilient, they're not confident, they're not assertive. I'm not saying anything negative towards them, but maybe if they spent the time working on themselves, working on these elements of themselves, when life goes like that, they're able to bring themselves up organically and be all right again, if that makes sense.
Don't have any other questions, Irwin. So if people are interested in coming on an Ignite course, what do they need to do?
Okay, anybody interested in coming on our Ignite course, all you need to do is give us a ring on 01202 410 500, ask to speak to the Ignite team, and we'll give you some information, whether it's myself, Mark, Alice, Jamie, or Elaine. We'll give you some information in terms of what the courses are all about, what it entails, the criteria for the different courses, and that's basically all you need to do. It's free, and I would encourage everyone who's obviously 18 plus to come along and have the courage to come along and seek out some personal development, because that's what's going to sustain us in times like these that we're in now. You know, it's all well and good having the nice things in life, but for me, if we've got that emotional intelligence, if we are resilient, if we are assertive, if we're confident, if our stress levels are on a level, if we're mindful, if we've got self-esteem, those are the things that are going to get us, you know, to where we want to get to eventually, more than the other side of life.
And finally, Becky's asking, she'd like to know when meditation starts. So we can speak to Mark and we can get in touch with Becky.
Yes.
Have you got 3 top tips to finish on or something?
Right, okay, my 3 top tips to finish on this session is really get locked into this 4 stages to freedom. That's the one thing. Because anything that we do that we've not done before, we're going to feel uncomfortable with it, but we're comfortable doing not the things that we need to do. So we need to get familiar with the 4 stages to freedom. That's the first thing that we need to do. We also need to realise, in my opinion, that most people are going through the same in terms of the emotional stuff that we go through. So most people are lacking in confidence. Most people aren't assertive in the right way. Most people haven't got, you know, abundant of self-esteem. In other words, that can make us feel better. And again, from that concept of fake it till you make it, most people do wear the mask, Lorraine, unfortunately. They do. They wear the mask. Are you all right today? Yeah, I'm all right. And they walk away thinking, no, I'm not all right.
Yeah.
But if they were honest and saying, look, I'm not all right, I'm not feeling good, that's when you can get the help. Because if a person says to me, oh, yeah, do you know what, I'm doing fine, I'm doing really well, fine, brilliant. But if a person says to me, do you know what, I'm struggling with resilience, I'm struggling with my confidence, can you help me? Somebody mentioned about mindfulness and meditation, Mark, sure, straight away. But if you hadn't have had the courage to ask that question, I wouldn't give you that answer. So the second thing is having an honesty of purpose about where you're at, and where you're at with your feelings, and expressing that to the point where you're not really bothered about what people think of you, because the more vulnerable we are, the more help we're going to get in the right source. So the first one is the comfort zone, the second one is having an honesty of purpose, and the third one is when we do get some valuable information which will help us in the context of being resilient, or mindfulness, or stress, act on the information. Act on the information. Just to go back to the stick man, the information that we get will only be effective once it goes through the subconscious part of our body. So take for example, if you get the newspaper and you read an article about something that you're not really bothered about, and you chuck the newspaper away and somebody says, did you hear about that? You probably forget it. But if it's something that you're really emotionally involved in, such as your emotions, such as your resilience, such as your stress, such as your self-esteem, whatever information you read, you're going to get emotionally involved in it because it's something that you want to do. Hi Mandy, how you doing? You're going to get emotionally involved in it because it's something that you want to do. And that's the key. The more things that we do that we want to do will pass from the conscious bit, just reading it and thinking about it, and it'll go through the subconscious bit, and then we'll become a walking, talking replica of it. I'm a walking, talking replica of this information. Mark Shaw's a walking, talking replica of his information, and so is Alice, and so is Jamie, and so is Elaine, because we've emotionalised this stuff so much so that we've become it. So for me, it's about getting the information that you need to help you and keep persisting with it, and then you'll become it.
Can someone do the course again if they've already done it?
Yes, you can do our Ignite course again, but so you'll come on the Ignite course. It lasts for 6 weeks, between 5 and 6 weeks, and then you can come along after, I think it's 6 months, a 6 months period, and then you can come back again. For me, it's about repetition, because repetition is the mother of skill. Again, the more we do something over and over again, the better we become. So, yeah.
I like that quote. Thank you.
Yes.
I don't think there are any other questions.
Okay, so just go back to the key elements that I mentioned at the beginning. Staying calm, being flexible, keep a sense of perspective within what you're going through. Try and find a way to solve your problem. If it means coming to me, if it means coming to anybody on the Ignite team, try and find that way. Ask for help. Be grateful. Be grateful for the things that we're not grateful for. As I mentioned, the hot and cold running water, having something to eat, being able to switch the television on, being able to use your phone, being able to, get on the internet and speak to people or just do things and stuff like that. Just being grateful for the little things will make us feel better. Having belief in yourself, and I'm acutely aware of the fact that we can't get belief in ourselves until we understand why we work the way we work in terms of our emotions. But the more we work on ourselves, the more belief we'll get, and the more belief we'll get, the more the things that we need to do and want to do in life, we'll do it easily because we believe in ourselves. If you look at all the sportsmen and women and all the successful people, they're not successful because of the information that they've got, they're successful because of the belief that they've got in themselves. But that belief comes through doing. We've got to do. So this information and the information that you'll get on the Ignite course, from the various courses, it's for you to take on board and get emotionally involved in it, and then you'll have that belief in yourself that, you know what, yeah, I went on that course, that confidence building course with Ignite, and I worked on the information so much so that I don't feel lacking in confidence anymore. I feel really, really good. What happened there? Well, you got emotionally involved in it, and now you become it. That's the secret. So, just take this opportunity to thank you for joining us this morning. Remember, this happens every week, not on this particular topic, but various topics. Feel free to ask any questions. Your questions have been brilliant. You kept me on my toes, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I hope you have. But again, don't just wait until next Thursday. If you've got any questions, comments, or anything about emotions or about life in general, just feel free to give us a ring, send us an email, and we'll help you. And also share it with others as well. And there'll be a video available, so you can watch that as well, on our YouTube channel. Excellent. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very much. Thank my able assistant, Lorraine. She's been a star. By the way, if there was a video on bloopers and stuff like that, you should have seen what it was like today. It was a right flavour, but we got it sorted out. So hope to see you soon. Stay well, stay safe, and stay in touch. Bye for now.